Okay, the dark people, the black people. And then Japheth was the line of the Caucasians. Okay, the white Euro-Asians, the white people. And so we're all actually all related because we all came from Noah's line. Did you know that? That you're all descended from Noah's 3 sons. Okay? And so basically God destroys the earth. And God saves his family so that he could bring about redemption for us. That's in a nutshell. I mean, we're really moving time here. When you cover Genesis, it takes weeks and weeks to talk about, you know, the creation and the fall of man. But just all you need to know is that when God created everything, it was all good and it was beautiful. And because of man's evilness and our sin and stuff like this happening with Nephilims and stuff, sin entered the world and God had destroyed it, and then he had to restart again. But the interesting thing now is that you are seeing kind of the same things happening again in our world, right? The Bible says that before Jesus comes back again, in the end times, our world is going to be very much like it was in the days of Noah. There's going to be sin, there's going to be evil, there's going to be killing and murder and stuff like that, homosexuality, you know, all that's going to be part of it. And God's going to come back and destroy the earth and start all over again. Is there any questions about anything from, in that sense, from Genesis and how, and about creation that you've always wondered about? Did anyone write any questions down? I don't know. I know no one passed it in to me, so I guess the Koreans are always too shy to ask questions. Jennifer, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have a question? If there's something you've always wondered about, like in creation, we can just take a few minutes to do some Q&A time. I'm watching the time here, so. Anything you've been interested in about where do these things, how do these things happen? Not that I don't know all the answers, but some of the research I've done, and over the years I might be able to answer some of them for you. You understand the whole thing with the giants and stuff like that? The sons of God, it's, yes, Gloria? Were the angels allowed to interbreed with humans? Okay, now actually that's a good, I'm glad you brought that up because I was wondering about that myself. Why were these angels allowed to come down, the sons of God, come down and breed with the human women? Were they allowed? Do you think God gave them permission? No. You know what? I think what happened was, there was a group of angels, do you remember, and this is where Genesis 1 and 2, verse 2, it says the earth, God created the heavens and the earth. And then the earth became formless and empty. I don't know what happened in there, but some people believe that in that gap space, there was a big battle in the heavens. And that was between Lucifer and his evil angels. Lucifer is Satan, okay? And God and his angels. Do you know the Bible tells us that Lucifer, Satan, was one of the most beautiful angels created, if not the most beautiful. And he was in charge of many things. He was high in God's kingdom. Did you know that? And you know Lucifer was also like the lead worship leader in heaven. Okay? He used to create music for God. And he used to worship God with this great music. Some of you guys are a worship team. You know, Lucifer was in charge of that at one point. And what happened to Lucifer? What destroyed Lucifer eventually? Do you know? What's that? Very good. Pride. You know what pride? He was too proud. He said, hey, wait a second. I don't want to create all this for God. What about me? You know? I'm so talented. God gave me all this talent. I can do this for myself. And he started to pull angels to his side. And you hear the story. Eventually, he took 1/3 of heaven's angels with him. 1/3 went with Lucifer and became evil angels, okay? I was reading a book called the Book of Enoch. Have you heard this book? It's not in the Bible. I think it should be in the Bible because it's a great book. I've read it, parts of it, and I thought, wow, this is very interesting. But Enoch was a man in the Bible that God, remember, he never died. God took him away. There was only 2 men in the Bible that never died, right? Enoch was one of them. And Enoch, this book called Enoch, Enoch was so close to God that this book says these angels that were evil angels, part of Lucifer's armies, they were really evil, and they started telling man about revealing things to man, like maybe during the time when he came to earth to breed with the women. Okay, they weren't allowed to come. God didn't say, go ahead. But at this point, remember, they didn't follow God. They were following Lucifer. So a lot of these angels came down, okay, and they bred with human women. But meantime, they were sharing secrets of the universe that God said, you are not allowed to tell man about these things. Secrets of mathematics, space, okay, geology, physics. And they were sharing these things, and God became very upset because they were revealing the secrets of the universe that man was not allowed to understand. And what happens is the book of Enoch says, these angels, God cast them away forever. He condemned them to the pit. And eventually, one day, they will stand in judgment. But right now, they're all tied up. But before they were condemned, they came to Enoch and said, Enoch, we know you're very close to God. And we want you to appeal on our behalf, like a lawyer would appeal on your behalf if you were going to jail, right? He said, appeal to God. Tell him, we're sorry. Forgive us for what we did. And Enoch first said, no, I don't want to. But eventually, they convinced Enoch to do that. And Enoch went before God, appealed, and God says, no. They were only given one chance. And last night when I was reading, it says, because these angels knew God. They were with God all the time before. They knew the laws, and they knew what was right and wrong. Not like man, you know. They knew, and they shouldn't have done it. And God, there was no second chance for them. So your question is, were they allowed to breed with human women? No, they weren't allowed. But one of the reasons why they came, and this is a very interesting hypothesis, theory, is because they were trying to destroy the line that was coming up. And what was that line? Very important. Jesus. These angels knew that God loved man so much that even though man is sinful and man had disobeyed God, God made a way for man to come back to him. And that was through Jesus. And Jesus had to be born. These angels all knew that. He was coming up in the line of Jesse, which was along the line of King David. Okay? And these angels all knew that one day Jesus was going to enter into our world and live like us and die on the cross for us to bring us back to God. Redemption. Okay? And the only way these angels thought, okay, we've got to destroy this line. And that's one of the reasons why you see angels coming down to the earth, as one of the theories go, to destroy the line of Jesus, the line of Jesse, because they want to contaminate it. You know the word contaminate? They interbred women, and they were hoping they could destroy this whole line that was coming. But God didn't allow it to happen. So that's a very interesting, but it's an interesting theory, interesting story, and I tend to believe that's what was going on, and that's why you got all these giants and all these problems on the earth. And God knew what was